Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the head of Group Communications of the Volkswagen Group, Stefan Grusem.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Volkswagen Group event here in Geneva. We're really pleased that you're all with us. Once again, it's an honor for us. The Geneva Motor Show is like the more familiar motor show. Everything in the city is a little closer, things a little smaller. And you notice that when you go to the fairgrounds just a couple miles from here, which also is not that big, and that's actually what a lot of visitors to the show here find so attractive about the Geneva Motor Show. And we're also noticing it here this evening in the Al-Seschel. That's the name of the building we are. It's something that we can even call a little bit of a tradition that we have here at this location. We know that this Al-Seschel, compared to Frankfurt and Paris and so on, is a little bit smaller than what we have in those places, a little more familiar, but we nevertheless are really pleased to be able to present to you our new cars, to give you first-hand information, and that is why we decided to come here. Even though there are always more people that are coming to be with us, we decided nevertheless to stay here in the center of Geneva. It makes it easier to get here, shorter. A lot of things are much more simple, and I hope that this is in your interest too. This evening we have some 1,300 guests. I'm very pleased that so many people have come to be with us from a full 44 countries. This is one of the most international audiences we've had in the past few years, and we're very pleased about this. In addition to that, we're pleased not just by the number of people, we are pleased by the people in particular that we have here, beginning with the Supervisory Board Chairman of the Volkswagen Group, Volkswagen AG, Professor Ferdinand Pirch. Good evening.
Und Sie, liebe Frau Pirch, seien Sie uns auch herzlich
Ms.
willkommen.
Pirch, welcome.
Guten Abend.
Good evening.
Ebenso freuen wir uns über den
We're also
Besuch
pleased
des
to have as a guest the
der Porsche SE,
Supervisory
Dr.
Board
Wolfgang
Chairman of
Porsche.
Porsche
Guten
SE,
Abend, Herr
Dr.
Porsche.
Wolfgang Porsche. Good evening, Mr. Porsche.
Natürlich sind auch die
And of course,
Spitzenvertreter der
the
deutschen
leaders of
Autoindustrie
the
hier.
German
Sie alle werden
automotive industry
angeführt vom
are
Präsidenten des
here,
Verbandes der
headed by
deutschen
the
Automobilindustrie,
president of
Matthias
the
Wissmann.
German
Herzlich
Automotive
willkommen.
Industry Association, or VDA, Matthias Wissmann. Welcome.
Und Sie wissen auch,
As
dass
you know,
wir in der großen Volkswagen
we in the big
Familie
Volkswagen
unsere Mitarbeiterinnen
family
und Mitarbeiter immer wieder besonders in den Mittelpunkt
always
stellen. Und
have
deswegen ist es
at the
uns auch
center
eine
of what we
Ehre,
do
dass wir den
our workers and employees, and that's why it's an honor for us to have the head of the General Works Council with us this evening, Bernd Osterloh. Good
Er
evening.
ist gleich bei mir hier unten.
He'll
Da
be
sehen
down
Sie
here
ihn
with
gleich.
me in a minute. You'll see him in a
Und,
minute.
wir werden heute Abend aber noch ein
And
kleines wenig
this
mehr von
evening,
Bernd Osterloh
we're
hören
going
und
to be
sogar
hearing
sehen.
a few more things from Bernd Osterloh
Damit
and
ist aber
seeing him
die
too.
Aufzählung noch nicht getan.
But that's
Ich
not
könnte
the
jetzt die
end of the
nächsten
list
Minuten
of
verbringen, noch
special
viele,
people we
viele
have here. I
weitere
could spend
honorige Gäste
many
zu
minutes
begrüßen.
here
Es sind Gäste da
welcoming
aus
esteemed
Sport. Ich habe
guests
schon
from
gesehen, der
other
halbe
areas,
FC Bayern
the field
München
of
gibt
sport.
heute
I
die
see
Ehre.
that half of
Herzlich
the
willkommen, Uli Hoeneß
Bayern Munich
und
soccer
seine
club is here
Mannen.
this evening. Uli
Wir haben
Hoeneß
aber
and his
weitere
men,
Gäste
welcome.
aus
We have other
Gesellschaft,
guests
aus
from
Kultur. Es
all
sprengt
parts of
wirklich den
society,
Rahmen,
from
dort
the
alle
field
einzeln
of
vorzustellen.
culture.
Seien
It
Sie
would
uns alle
be a
ganz
very
herzlich
long list to
begrüßt.
welcome them individually, but just
Viele
let me
unter
say
Ihnen, es gilt besonders
welcome
für
to all
die
of you. Many of you, and this is
Medienvertreter,
particularly
kennen
true
ja in
of
etwa
the
das
media
Prozedere.
representatives,
Sie
are
wissen,
familiar with
was
our
Sie
procedure
hier
here. You know
erwartet,
what to
nämlich
expect
zum
here.
einen 10
First of all,
automobile
there will be
Weltpremieren
10
und zum anderen
automotive
natürlich
global
kompakte
debuts, first of all. And then
Informationen
secondly,
und
there will be a lot
hoffentlich
of
dann auch
compact
gute
information
Gespräche
for you. And then I
mit den
hope there will be
führenden
great
Köpfen und
discussions
Experten
for you
aus
with the leading
unserem
minds and
Unternehmen
experts
des
from
Konzerns. Die
the group
Konzernabende, das
companies.
wissen Sie,
Our group
stehen
companies,
ja in der
as you
Volkswagen
know,
Group für Autos
stand for
und die
cars
Menschen
and the people
hinter den Autos.
behind
Genau
the
das
cars, and
werden
that
Sie
is
natürlich heute Abend
exactly
selbstverständlich
what
erleben.
we want
Aber
you to
es ist
experience
uns
this
heute
evening,
auch
of course.
besonders wichtig,
But in addition to that, what's important for us this evening too is to open the door a little bit for you, to give you a glance into the most inside parts of the Volkswagen world. We want to open the door for you, give you an impression of what moves this group and its people on a daily basis around the world, what drives all of us together, what we are working on, and of course we want to show you our vision for a strong, sustainable, and above all a responsible company. Now, if we look at this in more detail, we see that in the past few years the Volkswagen Group has grown dramatically. The Volkswagen Group, what is that today? Today it is a group that consists of 11 strong brands from 7 European countries with more than 240 models of vehicles, from the smallest of small cars to the big 50-ton truck. But this also means 94 plants on 5 continents, giving us more than 153 sales markets around the world. 8.3 million vehicles were sold by the group last year, and the group now is an employer for more than 500,000 people, men and women, who work for the group. Now, as you go through these numbers, they show clearly what the dimensions of the group are now. Our workers and employees, of course, are responsible for the products that we produce. They assume that responsibility, and in addition to that, they are thus responsible for our increasing economic success. But we also assume a responsibility for our workers and the communities where we have our plants. We assume responsibility for protecting the environment and society around the world. And our 500,000 workers and employees pursue these goals with passion and commitment. And these are 2 key words, passion and commitment. That is what the Volkswagen Group stands for more than any other automotive manufacturer. And that is why our group evening today has as its motto, passion and commitment. I would now like to invite you to join us for the next 45 minutes to go on a trip through this world of the Volkswagen Group. I hope you have a great time. No other group does more in terms of sustainability, and this begins in production. By 2020, the Volkswagen Group will reduce greenhouse emissions in energy supply for production by 40%. For this, the Volkswagen Group is investing 600 million euros in regenerative energies such as wind, solar, and hydroelectric power. One example from Brazil: to supply power for our plant in Sao Paulo, we provide financing of 120 million euros to build 2 new hydroelectric power plants. This project is unique. No automotive manufacturer has ever done any commitment like this. We generate more than 20 megawatts of electricity per year. This is enough for the 50,000 people who live in this area and for industry. Environmentally compatible design was the key objective in planning. The surface of the water, therefore, was given a green belt over 5.8 kilometers long, a new forest covering 116 hectares or 287 acres, where in the past there was just a monoculture of sugarcane. There are some 125 different species in the lake area, and more than 450,000 trees have been planted. Mexico, near the Puebla factory. After land was cleared for farming, the water level in the past few decades went down dramatically here. By planting 500,000 trees, the Volkswagen Group is working to counter this. The clear and concrete objective of the project is to treat 100% of the water after it's used in production in order to not disturb the hydrological cycle in the region and to guarantee sustainability. If you're at home everywhere in the world, you have to be a good global citizen too. A challenge: carbon-neutral production. In the Spanish city of Monterrey, SEAT has installed the biggest solar collection system in the European automotive industry, and starting at the end of the year, it will produce 13 million kilowatt hours of electricity per year, enough for 3,000 households. With its dry paint separation system, the group factory in Changchun has reduced CO2 emissions by 85% and economizes 75,000 liters of water per day. At Audi, soon, any CO2 emissions will be a thing of the past. The use of numerous regenerative energy sources will make this possible. Photovoltaic systems, renewable energy from hydroelectric power plants, the use of thermal discharge from waste incineration plants have allowed us in Ingolstadt to reduce CO2 emissions by 300,000 tons per year. With biogas, we'll be soon taking the next steps to make all of our plants CO2 neutral. For the plans of the group, this is something that will happen now, not far in the future. Skoda is achieving new top marks with its efficiency system that we call the Green Future Initiative, with combined heat and power plants and pioneering energy production technologies in production. Volkswagen is continuing to systematically implement its Think Blue factory. The new factory in Chattanooga is a benchmark: 30% lower energy consumption, resource economizing production, water recycling. The greenest factory in the world has been granted the prestigious LEED Award, the only automotive factory in the world. Sustainability is not a buzzword for us. We walk the talk day in and day out in our global corporation. Environmental sustainability in production, that is the key word here, the key term. Welcome with me, the head of production in the Volkswagen Group, Dr. Michael Macht. Please come up on stage. Mr. Macht, that brief video ended with an example from one of our most recent plants in Chattanooga in the United States. Is what we saw there an individual case, or what does Chattanooga stand for? Well, Chattanooga is very, very close to our ideal of an environmental factory, so it's a role model for all of the factories that we'll be building around the world. In addition to that, in the group, we look at each and every plant and every machine and every system, not just starting recently. We've been doing that for many years, and as a result, we see numerous wonderful ideas that we share at group forums, so that we share our ideas and achieve more sustainability, and this benefits the environment and, of course, the company too. Well, this evening we have numerous representatives of the media here, and sometimes they like to hear that companies are worrying about environmental production more and more nowadays, are concerned about it. So my question is this just a fig leaf, or is there more to it than that? Well, I have to really contradict that, Mr. Grusem. For many years, the Volkswagen Group has been focusing on economizing resources, recycling, and acting in a sustainable fashion, not just for our cars, but also for our factories. Probably we talked about it not quite as much as others did, and not quite as loudly, but we have a clear objective. By 2018, in terms of ecology too, the Volkswagen Group wants to be the world's best car manufacturer. That means we've got to be benchmark in resources, emissions, and efficiency. Now, in concrete terms, this means that by 2018, we want to make sure that our production is 25% more environmentally friendly, 25% less energy, less water consumed, 25% less waste, and 25% lower emissions. And now, now we have 94 factories in the group around the world, and that's going to be a huge challenge, a lot of pressure. Well, you've got a huge target there, I guess. Yes, it's a major task, as you just said. Maybe we haven't talked about it enough. I think the past few minutes have indicated that it really is worth talking about it, because there will be a profound change in production in all of our factories in the Volkswagen Group. Yes, in our standard factories that we planned, it's now a fixed component in all the lists of requirements. So, we know that Dr. Macht and his colleagues in the brands have a lot to do, but the objectives have been set, and those objectives will be met, and as we just heard, they are quite ambitious. Michael Macht and I are now going to leave for the next few minutes because we're going to make room for the first round of our global debuts. We will see you in a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chairman of the Board of Audi AG, Rupert Stadler.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There it is, our brand new Audi A3. Of course, it is agile, very sporty, athletic, and efficient. As you know, about 15 years ago, Audi was the first car company that began to establish the premium compact segment. 2.7 million customers have now opted to purchase the A3, which is a very positive signal, and it shows us that this decision was absolutely right. And today, we are celebrating an additional milestone with the successor to the Audi A3. For the very first time, it is the starting point for an entire A3 family that will be launched, and it's also the starting point for the Volkswagen Group, because this car is the first based on the modular transfer system, MQB. Allow me to convey to you 4 key messages. Why is this car so agile? Well, because our engineers have succeeded in taking the previous generation and reducing its weight by 80 kilograms in this car with aluminum, steel, hybrid modular systems. Why is it so athletic? Because we say it has quattro drive, it has powerful diesel and spark ignition engines, and this will really do this car well. It's very flat design, very wide, and the car looks really great. It will be good in the market. Third message, why is this car so efficient? Well, at the very launch of the car, we of course will have a 1.6-liter TDI that emits 99 grams of CO2, consumption of 3.8 liters, that's the benchmark. Then 2013 we'll have turbo CNG e-gas, and then we'll have a plug-in hybrid that will be launched at the latest in 2014. And why is it so good in communication? Why is it so communicative? The fourth message. Well, the interior shows you a very flat instrument panel, iPhone look, where we present the navigation or GPS system, and of course our young customers are always online. So we said navigation, Google Earth, Wi-Fi connection. We've got to do that for our customers too. The A3, to our mind, is all in all a car with a character. It's an Audi through and through. Vorsprung durch Technik. We're looking forward to this car, and we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, 8:45, Audi press conference. You'll see something new there. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president of Bugatti Automobiles, Wolfgang Durheimer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the global debut of the Bugatti Grand Sport Vitesse. As you know, we at Bugatti are never satisfied with average performance. We are always looking to redefine what is technically possible. And in this activity, something new has been created. The fastest roadster of all time. The technical data, the specs, mean that you really get goosebumps. 1,200 horsepower, 1,500 Newton meters of torque, 410 kilometers an hour top speed. Those figures speak for themselves. Never before has it been more dynamic in driving an open-top car. 2.6 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, and acceleration that is unique, that casts a pall on anything we've seen in the past. It has a dynamic lateral acceleration of 1.4 G. In visual terms, the Bugatti Grand Sport looks a little bit like the Super Sport, and also its dynamic characteristics are like that. The driving dynamics are outstanding, the running gear has been tuned even more finely, and the turn-in ability of the car is even more precise, with innovative details such as, for instance, the tooth saw here at the top of the windscreen. We have acoustic comfort that is unprecedented in this type of vehicle. And this means when I tried the car out myself 2 weeks ago, at speeds up to 359 kilometers an hour, you can still drive with an open top, and only at about 300 kilometers an hour does your front seat passenger notice that things are a little bit louder. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bugatti Veyron 16.4 Grand Sport Vitesse, the new definition of open driving. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the CEO of Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles, Dr. Wolfgang Schreiber.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just in time for the Geneva Motor Show, we have our concept here, the Amarok Canyon. This extreme athlete has special capabilities. It's all-wheel drive system, its higher ground clearance. It's appropriate for Switzerland with its canyons and mountains. On the bed of the vehicle, you perhaps have seen something here. There we have a freestyle kayak, and very courageous people use this piece of equipment to go down ravines filled with whitewater streams. Now, before they can do that, of course, they've got to get up the mountain, and the Amarok will help them do so. Especially if, like in this case, it has a powerful 180 horsepower diesel engine that provides 420 Newton meters of torque, and it can make it up any incline. For a few weeks now, you've been able to order this engine with a brand new, very innovative automatic transmission. It's an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, due to the very short gear ratios in the lower gears, it can make it up almost any incline, no problems at all. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that I've been able to whet your appetite for this car, and thus I'd like to say it would be a pleasure to welcome you tomorrow at our stand so you can have a closer look at this car. As you know, if you have any questions about it and are showing interest in it, this car might actually become a car that goes out on the road, and this car might then be produced in our factory in Hanover by about the middle of the year. Thank you for your attention. The Volkswagen Group employs more than 500,000 employees, men and women around the world, the number of people that live in a major city. This includes 15,000 apprentices, which makes the Volkswagen Group one of the companies that has the most apprentices in the entire world. In the factory in Russia, like at all plants, we have training in two parts, in the classroom and hands-on. The dualistic system is something special from Germany. It guarantees high standards of knowledge and quality for the group. This is representative of our responsibility to our employees. Many of our students were very surprised when they heard about the package that we offer that guarantees them a good future. We are interested in the further development of our employees and want to offer them good opportunities for their career development. In the future, I'd like to be a master craftsman, and if I do a good job, then the cars in and around Kaluga will be better, I think. In India, the dualistic training system has now become a standard too. 4,000 people work in the Volkswagen factory in Pune. 25% of the trainees are women. I like to work here because they combine classroom training and hands-on training. Every detail is really helpful, and it's a well-founded training system. They really take care of us, and I like that. The group assumes responsibility for its employees. This includes another special activity. Like in Wolfsburg and Ingolstadt, all of our plants offer regular health checkups for every worker and employee. No other worker offers such a comprehensive program. 70,000 employees have already taken advantage of this offer. At all of our plants, we really prove our social commitment. Like in Brazil, This is proved by the workforce itself. In 2011 or 2008, we introduced a project called A Chance to Play, which gives children a place to play and to learn. That was in South Africa, and we're continuing it with the World Cup in 2014 in Brazil. Another component in our work for children and teenagers. Social commitment for Volkswagen is not just a fad. The Volkswagen Foundation in Brazil has been supporting social projects for 33 years. Impressive numbers, 12 million euros have been collected by our workforces. 200,000 people have been directly helped in collaboration with Terra des Hommes, and 127 projects were supported, like the Instituto Pacarelli in the favelas of Sao Paulo. Currently, we can find a way out of the favelas for 1,200 children away from drugs and the constant danger in the streets. It was in 1998 that a campaign called An Hour for the Future gave a name to the commitment by our workforces. 1 hour of wages was donated back then, and since then there have been many more campaigns. At the group plant in South Africa, therefore, we had projects for kindergartens and schools. This assistance improves the structure in the entire region. It's a win-win situation. In order for Volkswagen to grow and prosper in the future, we need well-trained workers from the community. The Volkswagen Group considers itself to be an integral part of the communities at its plant location. This includes supporting small companies such as the Utenhage Sewing Co-op. Volkswagen helped these women in purchasing machines and providing management know-how. 10 years ago, all of them were still unemployed. The assistance from Volkswagen was the key to success. Without them, we wouldn't be here today, and we're proud of what we have achieved. Social commitment for our workers and by our workers as citizens of the world with a sense of responsibility. For the Volkswagen Group, this quite simply has always been a part of what we do. Well, ladies and gentlemen, impressive footage about the great big Volkswagen family from South America there, but also from other emerging markets. As you have seen, we are talking about people, we're talking about responsibility. Now, what better person to talk to that about than with the head of HR for the Volkswagen Group, Dr. Horst Neusmann, and he brought along the head of the General Works Council, Bernd Osterloh. Please come on up on stage, gentlemen. Well, Dr. Neumann, one thing is certain, and the media representatives here know this. First of all, the group and its brands are judged by their products, by the sale of the products, by the economic success of the company. Now, is the social commitment of the corporation more something that's just nice to have? Well, actually, it's the other way around, Mr. Grusom. We will only be successful if we show comprehensive social responsibility for our customers, obviously, for our employees too, and for the environment. Our employees, the men and women who work for us, build the best of all cars. And of course, we offer them secure jobs, competitive jobs, good working conditions, and we also offer profit sharing. And we do a very lot for health, education at the plants around the world, and this is part of the social DNA at Volkswagen. So it's not just a fig leaf, it's part of our DNA. It's one of the core tasks of this group. Bernd Osterloh, we just saw that video footage, A Chance to Play, the children playing football, soccer there in the favelas, in the slums. But I think that commitment has grown in the past few years. Tell us a little bit about that. Well, if you're familiar with the areas where we build our plants, Brazil, India, Kaluga, you notice that these are regions where they have high levels of unemployment, they have many problems with school opportunities for children. And back then, this prompted us to begin an hour for the future. That was back in 1999, as was mentioned. And what we did when we started was this. Everyone working for the group around the world, I think it was 300,000 people back then, donated wages of 1 hour at the turn of the millennium, and that helped 200,000 young people, and 12 million euros have been donated by workforces, and we have a chance to play in Brazil for the World Cup. We promised there will be 1 million from the workforce, and Dr. Winterkorn said they will provide 1 million to support a chance to play over there, and in our view, we want it to be much more than that too. We, the Works Council, let me say this too, think that training, education are really important. It has to be sustainable. It does no good to have just one step taken and forget the second step. That's an important term there, training, education, apprenticeship for young people. We saw some examples from different parts of the world where they don't have a high level of prosperity now, but their future is looking brighter. What is the situation, Dr. Neumann, in Europe with regard to young people, apprenticeship training, continued training? Well, in Southern European countries we have high levels of unemployment amongst young people, and we all know that that is a great burden on those countries, on those young people. And so for us, apprenticeship training is also always an investment in the countries where we build, develop, and sell cars. Around the world, we have introduced our dualistic training system at 25 plants, first in Europe, and now we have it in India, in Russia, and in China, and in South Africa, in Latin America too. And we're adding this in 23 others. Currently, the group has 15,000 apprentices on board. And if you look into the past, you will see that since it began, Volkswagen has provided outstanding apprenticeship training to more than 100,000 people. And this is a great investment in the future. 100,000 apprentices. That's a very big number, no doubt. Now, there's another subject I'd like to ask you about. It's something that's very important for you. Employee satisfaction. That's something that's easy to say. Everyone wants satisfied employees, but I know from my own experience in our company that this is a subject that you pay special attention to. Yes, that really is the toughest of tests for management. Every year in May, we ask everyone in the corporation. Works Council is on board. The participation rate is astonishingly above 80%, and it's even still going up. It's been going up in the past few years. There are 10 questions, for instance, a question on everyone's manager, what that person's superior is like, quality of information. Mr. Winterkorn himself wants to see these figures. We discuss them on the Board of Management. We take it very seriously. I think it is outstanding, a very tough, good instrument, good tool for us. Of course, the Works Council too knows what people are thinking, and they give us the voice of these people at the Board of Management level. It's a way of for us to express our esteem for our people and then, of course, trigger improvements. There are two gentlemen here who are really drivers of all these social subjects, which, as you said, are anchored in our DNA. Mr. Osterloh, where will you go from here with social commitment on the one hand, and then the vocational training, continued training of our workers around the world? Because I mentioned the figures here. It's just incredible to imagine the size of the group now. Tell us what your focal points are. Well, what I'm very pleased about in particular is that Volkswagen has always done apprenticeship training, and after apprenticeship training, they hired these people on a permanent contract basis. And many of the people here know that 10 years ago, people had very different discussions of the dualistic apprenticeship training system. And now, as we saw in the video, we have that in Pune, in Kaluga. And this week, I think, in Navarra, we're going to be opening a training academy too. So the group really has taken this German dualistic training system seriously and is spreading it across the world. And the politicians that are familiar with it are enthusiastic about it because people know know that you need well-founded training in order to build the high-quality products that the group is building at the quality level that customers want. And therefore, I'm particularly pleased that we're having a discussion right now with Dr. Neumann about additional apprenticeship jobs around the world and in Germany too, in concrete terms. And I'm sure that at some point in time we'll achieve a positive result there. Well, I'm sure we can assume that, because if things continue to develop like they have recently, we'll be needing a lot of apprentices. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in the past few minutes you've seen that we in the group and at our brands focus not just on our products but also on our employees at all of the plants around the world. I can say that all three of us have one thing in common. We love cars. We love the cars of our group, and the three of us will now clear the stage again for the next three fascinating global debuts. Enjoy the debuts. Thank you, gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman of the board of Porsche AG, Matthias Müller.
Verehrte Gäste,
Guests, ladies and gentlemen, the new Boxster. A brand new car, totally newly developed. It is something that provides pure driving pleasure. Now, allow me to give you a few facts and figures to explain the car to you. The engines kick out 10 horsepower more, but at the same time, they consume 15% less fuel. Now, even though requirements in terms of comfort and safety have gone up, the new Boxster is 35 kilograms lighter than its predecessor. All of this has meant that its power-to-weight ratio is 4.19 kilograms per horsepower, which means that the driving dynamics and handling of this car is by far the best in its class. Now, we have the new Boxster, and we've seen that it goes around the northern ring of the northern loop of the Nürburgring in 7 minutes and 58 seconds, which is 12 seconds faster than its predecessor. Now, the new convertible top reduces the interior noise level from 75 to 71 decibels. Now, in terms of what people hear, that means that the noise is down by 50%. And the new convertible top opens or closed, of course, fully electrically in 9 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, since the launch of the Boxster in 1996, we have sold 235,000 units. 99,000 were sold in the United States, 42,000 in Germany, and in Switzerland too. We have very faithful customers. We have sold 3,600 cars in Switzerland, which means that annually we have sold 14,700 Boxsters, and we are convinced that with this new car we're going to top that figure and continue the success story of this car. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chairman of the Board of Skoda Auto, Professor Dr. Winfried Fahler.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. There it is, our new Skoda Citigo. This is the 5-door version, the car that will bring new groups of customers to Skoda, a component for the further growth of our brand. It's the first Skoda to show our new, clear, fresh and modern Skoda design. It is, at first glance, an attractive and ingenious compact car, and it's also the first Skoda with our new brand logo. With the Citigo, we will be attracting new customers. It's a car for families and young people. It is a typical second car, or for many people, it can also be their first own car. It's practical, economical, and safe. An especially compact car with lots of room and numerous simply clever ideas, outstanding quality, and as you're used to getting from us, it's obviously available at a great price. Our motto here in Geneva is the Citigo, or to put it differently, let's go City. On that note, I'd like to welcome you to the Skoda stand at 8:15 at the Geneva Motor Show. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Giorgetto Giugiaro and Walter da Silva.
Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Giorgetto. Hi.
Deine Aufgabe, deine Mission,
Your job, your mission for you and your son Fabrizio,
natürlich auch von Italdesign,
and of course for Ital Design is continuing.
kommt immer wieder neue Ideen von euch, neue
We're always getting new ideas from you, new creativity
neue Innovationen.
and new innovation, unusual
Ein
ones,
neuer Prototyp,
a new prototype,
eine neue Studie,
a new concept car, according to your tradition, of course, with numerous ideas
in einer nahen Zukunft durchaus in der Produktion sehen
that
können.
in the near future we might even see in production, but maybe in a more distant future in production. Tell us a little bit about this brivido, the goosebumps, as it means in Italian. Well, you know, Walter,
Viersitziger Sportwagen.
it's a 4-seater sports car,
Komfortable
comfortable 4-seat sports car, in particular for the people sitting at the back.
Normalerweise
Normally,
sitzt da etwas beengt, so ein bisschen
sitting back there, it's very narrow and tight.
Aber es ist sehr einfach.
Person in the family that sits back there is like the poorest ones, but it is actually very spacious. The doors open to the top, and what you see here is that you see a lot from the inside. You see the huge glass surface with its very special lines, and essentially you can see more than you would normally see in a coupe. In the interior, apart from that, we have the touchscreen system, which allows you to have a dialogue with the passengers at the back too. So you've got all sorts of innovation in there, innovation like what you see in and iPads and iPhones and so on. And another thing that's important is that on the steering wheel here, we have two monitors. And these basically are a replacement for the two outside mirrors. So on the steering wheel, basically, it's like having a dialogue. Or you can use other instruments too, but you can always keep an eye on traffic. And that's the most innovative part here. Okay, the lines, the styling, the design. Of course, everyone has their own taste. This taste here, this styling, is very Italian, and it's, of course, very special because of its big glass surfaces there. Thank you, Giorgetto. A four-seat sports car. Well, I was never that low in a four-seater, and never have I gotten out one single door in a four-seater sports car. Well, it's a prototype, yes, but it uses all of the mechanical components and the powertrains of the Volkswagen Group. Thank you, and goodbye. The Volkswagen Group is the most innovative automotive group. 35,000 people in research and development pave the way for the automotive future with passion and commitment. Around the world, around the clock. An important focal point of their work is environmental innovation. Here, too, the group is a pioneer with an insurmountable lead. For instance, with the 1-liter consumption car, the vision became a reality. Concept cars became a concept ready for production. Fuel economy as a standard feature is no longer a vision at all. The Eco-Up is the best in its class. Ecology and racing, lower fuel consumption, more driving fun. The DSG transmission, an invention of the group, makes all this possible. Innovation for everyone. From racing, DSG goes straight into production for all brand groups. Lightweight design. Here, too, the group and its brands are leaders. Less weight means less consumption. Innovation that serves people and the environment. Then, fuel-saving technologies. No one else offers them in all classes of vehicles. Next, for example, cylinder on demand. From the Bentley Continental GTC to the Audi S8 to the Polo. Democratization of engineering from the very beginnings of our group on through to today. One principle of what we do. We create the future of e-mobility with no gimmicks, responsibly, user-oriented, fit for daily use, environmental innovations, sustainable for everyone to drive. In this way, the Volkswagen Group and its brands are assuring their future viability. Well, ladies and gentlemen, environmental innovations. This is the key term for the next few minutes, and I would now, on that note, like to welcome one of the most creative minds in the group, a creative person who thinks ahead, the head of development of the Volkswagen Group, Dr. Ulrich Hackenberg. Please come up on stage. Dr. Hackenberg, at the beginning of the video, we saw that incredible number there, 35,000 people in research and development in the Volkswagen Group. How do you coordinate all these people? How can you manage all that? Well, Stefan, 35,000 people in R&D, this represents the huge development force of the Volkswagen Group. These are the 35,000 people in R&D for all 11 brands. And these 35,000 people in R&D have huge know-how potential and incredible creativity. What we try to do, and we succeed in doing so, is to utilize this creativity to achieve our product and sustainability goals. And we have modules that help us to do this too. With their architectures, modules offer us a certain order in order to take targeted advantage of this innovation potential. It's like this. Architectures are comparable to guardrails on a freeway or motorway. They provide the direction, they set the direction, but they also make it possible to develop at a very high speed and also achieve a very high level of development certainty. And that's really important in order to achieve the best benefit. So if I understand things correctly, we in the Volkswagen Group can develop things 24 hours around the clock because these people are all integrated, interconnected. Yes, we have these development people around the world. They work in the different regions on the objectives that they have for their region because they vary differently from one market to the next. So they work hand in hand within a global system in order to achieve the objectives of the different regions. Environmental innovations, that's the subject at hand. And what Dr. Hackenberg can't say perhaps quite as clearly as I can is that our 35,000 people in R&D are really under a lot of pressure to work on new technologies, energy-saving, fuel-saving technologies, and these will contribute to sustainability, reducing CO2 emissions. I know, and I'm not promising too much. The chairman of our Board of Management, Professor Winterkorn, will be talking to you later on, and he will tell you a couple of surprising announcements. We are going to be setting the bar much, much higher in this context. But since I have Dr. Hackenberg up here, I would like to make sure I mention one subject. It's a subject that is important for technical media, but also for the popular press too. The buzzword here is the modular transfer system. MQB is the acronym in German. Almost everyone is talking about it now. We're talking about ecology, sustainability here. Tell us a little bit about how the modular transfer system, or MQB, is going to make a contribution to help us achieve our sustainability objectives. Well, the MQB is chock full of high-end product and production technologies. Let me give you Mr. Stadler's example. The new A3 has cut weight by 80 kilograms. More than 40 kilograms have been taken from our modules for the chassis and the floor pan of the vehicle. We achieve this by utilizing hot-formed ultra-high-strength panels in the floor pan and in the body, and also by having other weight-optimized designs in the running gear and powertrains. And we invest in state-of-the-art IC, internal combustion engine technologies. For instance, we have 2 new gasoline or petrol families that we have developed and a new modular diesel system. In addition to that, it's important for us to offer natural gas drive systems, CNG and LPG systems. We shouldn't forget that we have a modular system for hybrid drives too. That is another thing that will be available to us. And then next year in the Golf, we will have a pure electric drive system that will be launched. And this will really round off what we do. Thus, we'll have the right vehicle, the right product for each and every customer. By having these technologies for all brands, we guarantee a market penetration level that is unprecedented. And the same applies, incidentally, to other technologies, such as our assistance systems, for instance. We'll be offering these to improve comfort and safety for our customers. And all of this connected with a huge stride forward in terms of sustainability because we will be able to produce in our factories at lower costs in Europe and around the world, and that's the huge advantage of our modular transfer system, MQB. This will be the case for the powerful sedans at higher prices, all the way on through to the smaller models in the compact and subcompact segments. Yes, we have different modules. MQB goes from the smallest of cars to the B class, and then we have the modular longitudinal system for the bigger cars, and then our standard modules for all-wheel drive and so on. Thank you, Dr. Hackenberg. Ladies and gentlemen, you were counting so far. You've seen 6 global debuts so far. We have a few more up our sleeve in the pipeline, and we're going to be showing those to you now. After that, we'll be hearing from Professor Winterkorn. And for the people who have come to be with us many times, it's not going to be new, but those of you who are new, I should tell that you'll be able to come down here on stage afterward and have a hands-on look at the new cars, and you will be meeting the leaders of the brands in the group, the people that have spoken to you, and others. So we're looking forward to that. But first of all, let us have the next few global debuts. Thank you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, our Cross Coupé. You've seen it in Tokyo. In Tokyo, we unveiled this car. And the Cross Coupé, also, like the Audi A3 that you saw initially, is based on our modular transfers, or MQB system. It shows how the MQB makes it possible to build different types of cars in different vehicle segments. We offer various different powertrain technologies on this MQB. That applies to the Cross Coupé. In Tokyo, we showed the Cross Coupé with 2 E-engines, E-motors, TSI. Consumption was a mere 2.7 liters per 100 kilometers. That's 62 grams of CO2 per kilometer. 104 Imperial MPG, 87 US MPG. Today, we offer an even more economical version, the TDI plug-in hybrid version. This consumption is 1.8 liters per 100 kilometers. 156 Imperial, 130 US MPG. That's just 46 grams per 100 kilometers. And an SUV here, quite big, 305 horsepower, system performance, 220 kilometers an hour, max top road speed. The next milestone on the basis of the MQB will be our high-volume car, the new Golf. We'll wait for Frankfurt for that. But now I'm looking forward to seeing you at our press conference tomorrow at the Volkswagen stand. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President and CEO of Automobili Lamborghini, Stefan Winkelmann.
Signore e signori, buonasera. Buonasera e bentrovati.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Lamborghini's luxury super sports cars are innovative technology. Indeed, we have two model series here, the Aventador and the Gallardo, and in the future we might have a third model series. So far we have those two, but that won't stop us from building even individual cars or small production runs, as has been the case in the past with the Reventon and the Sesto Elemento. This car here is the Lamborghini Aventador Jota. Jota, or J-O-T-A, is a word from Lamborghini's legacy, from a day and age when there were many fewer rules and regulations than today, when cars were lighter, from a day and age when cars were much more stripped down. Today, it stands for unconventional design and state-of-the-art technologies. This car is a typical barchetta, very flat, open top, and it is the lowest Lamborghini that we've ever produced. In this car, we have utilized a soft carbon fiber material that we developed and patented ourselves. It's called carbon skin. We're using it here for the first time in the seats and in the instrument panel. The car has a 6.5-liter engine that produces 700 horsepower. It has permanent all-wheel drive, and the passenger cell is made entirely of carbon fiber. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people want to own this car, but only one person actually gets it, because it's a one-off car. It's one person who paid 2.1 million euros without VAT. Ladies and gentlemen, today Lamborghini is facing numerous challenges, and we at Lamborghini believe that we are here to help people meet their dreams, and this car, the Aventador Jota, is really a dream come true, and in the future we want to continue to do this. Thank you for your attention. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President and CEO of SEAT, James Muir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The legend returns. The Toledo concept car will soon attract a lot of attention on the roads, not just in Spain. This name, Toledo, in the past stood for elegant and sporty design, rational utility benefit, and a reasonable value for money. And the new concept embodies all of these characteristics. I will show you some of them at the back. We have a very big luggage compartment with a volume of more than 500 liters.
You
can put a lot of suitcases into there. A lot of room in the interior, including and above all at the back. Very much like a sedan. State-of-the-art technologies with TSI, TFI, and TDI engines. Outstanding value for money and, of course, beautiful design. In a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, a beautiful car for a beautiful price. We want to continue the success story of the Toledo and ensure that our 235,000 thrilled customers of the old generation of the Toledo have an opportunity to purchase a car with outstanding styling and design, state-of-the-art technology, and outstanding value for money. Ladies and gentlemen, come and see this compelling car for yourself later on this evening or tomorrow at our stand at the Geneva Motor Show. Come and see our Toledo concept car. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget that we will be unveiling 2 new cars, apart from this, tomorrow, the new Ibiza and the new 5-door Me. Thank you for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chairman and CEO of Bentley Motors Limited, Wolfgang Dürheimer.
Ja, meine Damen und Herren, seit
Yes,
jeher
ladies and gentlemen,
markieren experimental cars
from Bentley have always shown pioneering automotive technologies, such as in 1919 when the EX1 from W.O. Bentley was presented by W.O. Bentley himself. Then 2001 was the most recent experimental car, the EXP Speed 8, a car that was a top-notch car, a thoroughbred race car, won Le Mans in 2003. And this time, too, we want to redefine top-notch performance, this time in the SUV segment with the EXP 9F. This car is a car with typical Bentley design, British understatement, a martial presence. The design is intended to redefine the lines, and it will be the crown of the SUV segment. Now, as you would expect from the world's biggest manufacturer of 12-cylinder engines, we will have a 12-cylinder engine in this car. We'll also offer a plug-in hybrid. Traditionally, workmanship at Bentley is done with wood and leather, and this is one of the defining characteristics of our brand. These technology, this finesse, these materials will be brought into the SUV segment. Unprecedented, innovative details, an extraordinary amount of room at the back, and, for instance, a split tailgate that you can sit on the one hand. In addition to that, if you want to be able to stand at a higher level, you can do that on the tailgate too. Ladies and gentlemen, there are no limits for this car in our mind around the world. It will be right at home in city centers. It'll be right at home in the dunes of the Middle East, and of course it'll be right at home on the fast lane on autobahns. Ladies and gentlemen, the top of the SUV segment. This is our opinion at Bentley. Thank you for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chairman of the Board of the Volkswagen Group, Professor Dr. Martin Winterkorn.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In the last 45 minutes, we have taken you on a trip through the Volkswagen world. We've conveyed to you what moves this group and its people, and what drives us. To my mind, the evening here has shown one thing very clearly. The Volkswagen Group, more than any other car maker, stands for passion and commitment. Passion for beautiful and emotional cars, for uncompromising quality and unrivaled technology and engineering, and commitment to our more than 500,000 employees around the world, to a well-working and just society, and to the protection of our environment. This passion and this commitment are the foundation for the Volkswagen Group being today so strong and so fit for the future. 2011, ladies and gentlemen, was the most successful year in our history. We set records in all of our KPIs and key ratios. 8.3 million vehicles delivered to customers, more than 1 million more than in the previous year. Revenue of nearly 160 billion euros and operating earnings of 11.3 billion euros. These figures are ample proof that our strategy 2018 has come to bear. Volkswagen is moving forward step by step on its path toward leadership in the automotive industry. Despite a difficult economic environment, we intend to continue along this path in 2012. Systematically and prudently. And let me say this much this evening, the delivery figures for the first 2 months of this year impressively prove that we really have what it takes to do that. However, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to say one thing very deliberately. For a company such as Volkswagen, it is not sufficient to build good cars to be economically successful. In times like these, in particular, that are characterized by fundamental and deep-rooted change in economical and in social terms, Volkswagen is facing up to the urgent questions of our day and age. And above all, Volkswagen offers answers to the questions of our day and age, because we assume our responsibility for secure and good jobs, for training and the future of young generations, for education, science and culture, for a society in which each and every person can develop his or her abilities, and above all, for an unspoiled environment. Mobility, ladies and gentlemen, is a primordial need for human beings, and mobility is an engine for freedom and growth here in Europe and around the world. Our job and our commitment is to make individual mobility possible for many people in the future too, affordable, safe and environmentally friendly. In years past, we have already done quite a bit, but we are not satisfied with that. Here in Geneva, we are therefore sounding the starting gun for a fundamental environmental conversion of the Volkswagen Group. We are now setting the bar much higher in terms of sustainability. For this, we are setting new and ambitious targets. All in all, In the period from 2006 to 2015, the Volkswagen Group will reduce the CO2 emissions of its European new car fleet by 30%. As a result, in 2015, for the very first time, our fleet will be below the important level of 120 grams of CO2 per kilometer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not an empty promise. We are committing ourselves to this, and therefore, each and every new generation of vehicle is, on the average, 10 to 15% more efficient than its predecessor. Therefore, we are introducing our efficiency technologies, start-stop, recuperation, as standard in all of our new models. The new Audi A3 and the next Golf will pave the way for this. And therefore, as of 2013, or rather, therefore, with our Volkswagen Up, 2013 will become the year of electric mobility, followed by numerous other hybrid and electric vehicles from our group brands. And therefore, our production too around the world will become 25% more environmentally friendly, as a result of investments of 600 million euros in regenerative energies. This alone will cut the CO2 emissions for energy supply to our factories by 40%. Ladies and gentlemen, our commitment is clearly defined. In each and every segment and in each and every class of vehicle, the Volkswagen Group wants to offer the model that consumes the least and is the most environmentally friendly. But another thing is also clear. For this ambitious environmental program, we must make a huge and unprecedented effort in technological and in financial terms. We are facing up to this Herculean task. By 2016, the Volkswagen Group will invest around the world a total of 62.4 billion euros plus an additional 14 billion euros in China, together with our Chinese partners. Far more than two-thirds of this investment program will go into increasingly efficient cars, vehicles, powertrains, and technologies, and into environmentally compatible production in our factories. This, ladies and gentlemen, is our commitment, and we will be judged by it. Volkswagen stands for unequaled vehicles and economic success. And Volkswagen stands for responsible treatment of its workforce, society, and the environment. This is an elementary component and the core of our Strategy 2018. Because only if you convincingly lead by example in all of these areas can you be the number one over the long term. And this is and remains our goal. Ladies and gentlemen, responsibility always has something to do with trust. People expect a lot of Volkswagen. People trust this group and its brands. To my mind, the best foundation for this trust is and remains our vehicles. And therefore, the Volkswagen Group today and in the future will stand for cars that thrill people, for technologies and engineering that will change the automotive world, and for economic success, and of course, for responsible actions. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you all have a wonderful time here at the Geneva Motor Show, and above all, right now I'd like to wish you a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. And now we would like to invite you to enjoy our cars on stage.
In mezzo al mare, penso alle notti là in America, ma erano solo le lampare e la bianca scia d'un'elica. Sentì il dolore della musica, si alzò dal piano forte, ma quando vide la luna uscire da una nuvola, mi sembrò più dolce della morte. Guardò negli occhi la ragazza, quegli occhi verdi come il mare. Poi all'improvviso uscì una lacrima e lui credette d'affogare. Te voglio bene assai, ma tanto, tanto bene assai. È una catena ormai che scioglie il sangue di te bene assai. Potenza della lirica, dove ogni dramma è un falso, e con un po' di trucco e con la mimica puoi diventare un altro. Ma due occhi che ti guardano così vicini e feri ti fanno scordare le parole, confondono i pensieri. Così diventa tutto piccolo, anche le notti là in America. Ti volti e vedi la tua vita come la scia d'un'elica. Ma sì, è la vita.
Kein anderer Konzern leistet mehr in Sachen Nachhaltigkeit. Und die beginnt in der Produktion. Bis 2020 wird der Volkswagen-Konzern die Treibhausemissionen in der Energieversorgung der Produktion um 40% senken. Dafür investiert die Volkswagen Group 600 Millionen Euro in regenerative Energien wie Windkraft, Solaranlagen und Wasserkraft. Ein Beispiel aus Brasilien. Zur Stromversorgung des Werkes in Sao Paulo wurde mit 120 Millionen Euro der Bau von 2 neuen Wasserkraftwerken finanziert. Das Projekt ist einzigartig. Kein Automobilhersteller hat sich je derart engagiert.
Wir generieren über 20 Megawatt Strom pro Jahr. Das ist genug für die umliegende Bevölkerung von 50.000 Personen und die Industrie.
Eine umweltgerechte Gestaltung war das zentrale Ziel bei der Planung. Die Wasserfläche wurde deshalb ringsum über 5,8 Kilometer mit einem Grüngürtel versehen. Ein neuer Wald auf 116 Hektar, wo es vorher nur Monokulturen aus Zuckerrohr gab.
Es existieren ca. 125 verschiedene Tierarten in der Umgebung des Sees und es wurden über 450.000 Bäume gepflanzt.
Mexiko, in der Nähe des Werks von Puebla. Durch landwirtschaftliche Rodung war hier der Wasserspiegel in den letzten Jahrzehnten dramatisch abgesunken. Mit der Aufforstung von 500.000 Bäumen wirkt der Volkswagen-Konzern dagegen.
Das konkrete Ziel des Projektes ist es, das Wasser nach der Nutzung in der Produktion wieder zu 100% aufzubereiten, um den Wasserkreislauf der Region nicht zu stören und die Nachhaltigkeit zu gewährleisten.
Wer überall auf der Welt zu Hause ist, muss sich auch als Global Citizen erweisen. Eine Herausforderung, die CO2-neutrale Produktion. Seat hat im spanischen Martorell die größte Solaranlage der europäischen Autoindustrie installiert und produziert hier ab Ende des Jahres 13 Millionen Kilowattstunden Strom pro Jahr. Genug für 3000 Haushalte. Das Konzernwerk in Changchun senkt durch die trockene Lackabscheidung den CO2-Ausstoß um 85% und spart 75.000 Liter Wasser am Tag. Bei Audi gehört jeglicher CO2-Ausstoß bald der Vergangenheit an. Der Einsatz von einer Vielzahl verschiedener regenerativer Energiequellen macht das möglich.
Photovoltaik, Biostrom aus Wasserkraftwerken, Abwärme aus Müllverbrennungsanlagen haben hier am Standort Ingolstadt zu einer CO2-Reduktion von 300.000 Tonnen jährlich geführt. Mit Biogas werden wir die nächsten Schritte einleiten, um alle unsere Standorte CO2-neutral zu stellen.
Für die Marken des Konzerns ist dies keine Zukunftsmusik. Skoda erreicht neue Bestmarken der Effizienz mit der Green Future Initiative. Mit Kraft-Wärme-Kopplungsanlage und wegweisenden Energieeinsparungen in der Produktion. Volkswagen setzt weiter konsequent die Think Blue Factory um. Das neue Werk in Chattanooga ist Benchmark. 30% weniger Energieverbrauch, ressourcenschonende Produktion, Wasserrecycling. Die grünste Fabrik weltweit wurde als einziges Automobilwerk mit dem prestigeträchtigen LEED Award ausgezeichnet. Nachhaltigkeit ist für uns kein Modewort. Wir leben sie. Tag für Tag in unserem weltumspannenden Unternehmen. Der Volkswagen-Konzern ist innovativster Automobilkonzern. 35.000 Forscher und Entwickler bereiten den Weg in die automobile Zukunft mit Leidenschaft und Hingabe. Rund um den Globus, rund um die Uhr. Ein wichtiger Schwerpunkt ihrer Arbeit: ökologische Innovationen. Auch hier ist der Konzern Pionier mit uneinholbarem Vorsprung. Zum Beispiel mit dem 1-Liter-Auto. Aus der Vision wurde Realität und aus Studien ein serienreifes Konzept. Spritsparen serienmäßig ist schon lange keine Vision mehr. Der Eco Up markiert den Topwert seiner Klasse. Ökologie und Rennsport, weniger Verbrauch und erhöhter Fahrspaß. Das DSG-Getriebe, eine Konzernerfindung, macht's möglich. Innovationen für alle. Aus dem Rennsport geht DSG direkt in Serie. Bei allen Konzernmarken. Thema Leichtbau. Auch hier sind der Konzern und seine Marken führend. Weniger Gewicht gleich weniger Verbrauch. Innovationen im Dienst von Mensch und Umwelt. Thema Spritspartechnologien. Kein anderer bietet sie in allen Fahrzeugklassen. Beispiel Zylinderabschaltung. Vom Bentley Continental GTC über den Audi S8 bis zum Polo. Demokratisierung der Technik. Von den Anfängen unseres Konzerns bis heute ein Prinzip unseres Handelns. Wir gestalten die Zukunft der E-Mobilität. Ohne Show-Effekte, verantwortungsbewusst, nutzerorientiert, alltagstauglich. Ökologische Innovationen, nachhaltig und für jedermann erfahrbar. Damit sichern der Volkswagen-Konzern und seine Marken ihre Zukunftsfähigkeit. Der Volkswagen-Konzern beschäftigt global über 500.000 Mitarbeiterinnen und Mitarbeiter. Die Einwohnerzahl einer Großstadt. Dazu zählen allein 15.000 Auszubildende. Damit ist die Volkswagen Group einer der größten Ausbilder der Welt. Im Werk in Russland wie in allen Standorten erfolgt die Ausbildung in Theorie und Praxis. Die duale Ausbildung ist eine Besonderheit aus Deutschland. Sie garantiert hohe Wissens- und Qualitätsstandards. Für den Konzern gehört dies zur Verantwortung gegenüber den Mitarbeitern.
Viele unserer Studenten waren sehr überrascht, als sie von unserem Paket gehört haben, das ihnen eine gute Zukunft sichert. Wir sind an der Weiterentwicklung unserer Mitarbeiter interessiert und wollen ihnen gute Karrierechancen bieten. In Zukunft wäre ich gern Meister. Und wenn ich hier ordentlich arbeite, dann werden die Autos in der Umgebung Kaluga besser, denke ich.
Auch in Indien gehört die duale Ausbildung jetzt zum Standard. 4.000 Menschen arbeiten in dem Volkswagenwerk in Pune. Von den Auszubildenden sind 25% Frauen.
Ich bin gerne hier, weil Theorie und Praxis kombiniert werden. Jedes Detail hilft einem und die Ausbildung ist sehr fundiert. Die kümmern sich wirklich um uns und das gefällt mir.
Der Konzern übernimmt Verantwortung für seine Mitarbeiter. Dazu gehört eine weitere Besonderheit. Wie in Wolfsburg und Ingolstadt bieten alle Werke den regelmäßigen Gesundheitscheck-up für jeden Mitarbeiter. Kein anderer Arbeitgeber bietet ein so umfassendes Programm. 70.000 Angestellte haben dies schon genutzt. An allen Standorten ist soziales Engagement gelebte Praxis. Und wie in Brasilien immer auch durch die Belegschaft selbst. 2008 wurde das Projekt A Chance to Play, das den Kindern einen Ort zum Spielen und Lernen gibt, Erfolgreich in Südafrika gestartet und wird jetzt mit der Fußball-Weltmeisterschaft 2014 fortgesetzt. Ein weiterer Teil der Kinder- und Jugendarbeit vor Ort. Soziales Engagement ist für Volkswagen kein modischer Trend.
Die Fundation Volkswagen unterstützt Brasilien in sozialen Projekten seit 33 Jahren.
Eindrucksvolle Zahlen. 12 Millionen Euro wurden durch die Belegschaften gesammelt. 200.000 Kindern wurde in Zusammenarbeit mit Terre des Hommes direkt geholfen und 127 Projekte unterstützt. Wie das Instituto Baccarelli in den Favelas von Sao Paulo.
Derzeit können wir 1200 Kindern den Weg aus den Favelas, den Drogen und den ständigen Gefahren der Straße erleichtern.
1998 gab die Aktion Eine Stunde für die Zukunft dem Belegschaftsengagement ihren Namen. Ein Stundenlohn wurde damals gespendet. Seitdem sind viele Aktionen dazugekommen. Am Konzernstandort in Südafrika entstanden so Kindergarten- und Schulprojekte. Die Hilfe verbessert die Struktur der ganzen Region.
Es ist eine Win-Win-Situation. Damit Volkswagen in Zukunft wachsen kann, brauchen wir gut ausgebildete Mitarbeiter aus der Region.
Die Volkswagen Group versteht sich als Teil der Gemeinschaft an ihren Standorten. Dazu gehört auch die Förderung von Kleinunternehmen, wie die Jütenheck Sewing Co-op. Volkswagen half den Frauen beim Kauf der Maschinen und mit Management-Know-how. Vor 10 Jahren waren sie alle noch arbeitslos.
Die Hilfe von Volkswagen war der Schlüssel zum Erfolg. Ohne sie wären wir heute nicht hier. Und wir sind stolz auf das Erreichte.
Soziales Engagement für die Mitarbeiter und von den Mitarbeitern als verantwortungsbewusste Weltbürger. Für den Volkswagen-Konzern gehörte dies einfach schon immer dazu.